next week I can't come, so skip 1 week, and then we'll get back to it. Is there? No, she told me this like 13th of July, the 16th of July. So then there should be 2 more after. You're right, but I think there's 2 weeks after. There's 2 more weeks after. Okay, we finished last time. No, Perek Bet. We had a class last week on Zoom. Right, so Perek Bet, Pasuk Yud Aleph. We the sheets from last week I didn't print out. Do you guys want me to bring them to you?
I mean, I like having them if you
Okay, so I will next time.
So that I have it in my
Beseder Gomor. So I'll bring it next time. Okay, so we had talked about Chanas Tefillah. I just want to mention the one thing that we're going to like reference to is what happens just before her Tefillah, which is that Elkanah and Chana bring the Na'ar, and then and they bring they bring Parim, Shlosha, Ve'efa. We're now in Perek Aleph, Pasuk Kaf Daled, and then there's this Pasuk Kafei V'shchetu et hapar v'yaviu et hanar el Eli, which is a little bit funny juxtaposition. You could say it's just that they're bringing it like they're bringing the korbanot. They're also bringing the Shmuel, because he's going to stay there. They didn't want to make an extra journey. No, but V'ishchetu, right? There's this concept of V'ishchetu. It's not an akedah, but it's a Mesirat Shmuel. But there's this big midrash here that is a bit odd that we have. But because the pasuk is a little bit strange, why are we? You could have just said they brought the korbanot and they brought Shmuel. Why are they saying V'shchetu et hapar and the Na'ar? So then the midrash is that they brought Shmuel to Eli because there was an argument about the shchita, because that they looked for a kohen to do the shchita for the parim, and the truth is though that Azar, also other people can be shochet the par, and that Shmuel, who is 2 or 3, says, no, I want to be shochet the par, and I can also, if you can't find, you're not finding a kohen, but why can't we do it? And then they want, Eli says, oh, you're right, but you shouldn't be moreh halacha bifnei rabo. Okay? I know it sounds like a strange midrash, but we're going to go into it. I'm bringing it up because I think it's a lot in contrast to what's going to happen in what we're going to learn today. And then Chana says, and so you are actually chayav mita if you are more halacha. Like it's actually it's a merida to say halacha. And then the next pasuk, v'tomer bi Adoni chai nafshecha Adoni ani ha'isha. Chazal take this as she's begging for Shmuel's life. Okay, chai nafshecha, that you shouldn't, don't, I want this, I'm the one who davened, and pasuk of zayin, alanar hazeit palalti. I don't want it, and because he says to her, okay, I'll daven that you'll have another kid, but she's like, no, I wanted this kid, and that's the midrash that and then Eli is pacified. But that it represents. So then the question is why are Chazal bringing in this, like putting in this 2-year-old's mouth the halacha bifnei rabo and everything like that? So just to explain that a little bit, I brought today in source 2 a Rav Hirsch about shchita. What does shchita represent? So he Rav Hirsch is actually amazing. In the other shir I'm teaching, we're going through Tanakh, but we started with Torah, and so we were in Vayikra now, and every time I would look at a Rav Hirsch, he would give meaning to the korbanot, like he would say what they represent. What does the shechita represent? What does this represent? And I found it very meaningful to read it, especially since we don't necessarily relate to korbanot in our life. So this is what he brought in source 2. that I just brought a little bit of it. הבא להתקרב אל השם בקורבן, יחדל מאותו הוויה עצמאית. הנה הוא הקדיש בהמה כדי לבטא בה את אישיותו. Okay, so when you're bringing a korban, you're מתבטל from yourself, and you're as if the בהמה represents you. Okay, it's you're giving the issue to him. אך לא המקדש, okay, and now it's not, but Rav Hirsch there is very careful to say we're supposed to be, it's the man himself who decides to lead batel. It's not that like we're forcing him to like lead batel, it's his decision to lead batel and to bring himself in front of Hashem, that behema, as if himself coming in front of Hashem. האדם, אוקיי, אך לא מקדש יבטל אישות האדם, אלא האדם עצמו יתבטל לפני השם. And the shchita represents that hitbatlut. Okay, when you're shochet the behema, the hitbatlut, and I never find a good word, the negation of self in front of Hashem, yeah, I find it hard to find the right word. You don't want to you're not really canceling. You're making space for Hashem to come in instead of yourself. Surrendering, maybe. Right? I haven't yet found the right word for hitbatlut, but that the shchita itself is that hitbatlut. Okay, and then he says, and it has to be b'da'at shlema. Shochet chayav lechaven et da'ato al habehema omedet lifnei Hashem. And it could be that because of that, we're also allowed to do the shchita, because that's what we're supposed to be doing with this korban, right? If we ourselves are saying, okay, I want to be mitbatel to Hashem, the doing of the shchita represents that action. The action of doing the shchita represents that hitbatlut.
Right, so the person called the korban was meant to do the shchita.
He can. He can. So now, right. There's there's certain avodot in the mikdash that other people can do. For instance, sa'ira mishtalech can also be done by azar, but the kohanim basically took it on themselves, and so usually shchita was done by the kohanim. Usually sa'ira mishtalech I think is only the kohanim, but it could be done by azar. Okay, so it's one of the only jobs. You can't do zrikat adam. You can't do other parts of the job, but shchita you can do. Okay. Yeah.
Where in the story, I must have missed something, is it that Hannah has an influence on Eli? Like meaning, so she's a person, she davens. So first of all, he confuses, so she does her tefillah.
He doesn't read her right, right?
Right, but here she's saying all this and he's saying fine.
Well, I mean, the truth is that when she corrects him, when he reads her wrong, he also corrects himself and says, and gives her a bracha. Like he's listening. Eli does listen. Like, and here too, I mean, now, you don't have to read it like Chazal. You don't have to read it that like, Eli gets really, like that's not there in the text. Right. But they just, her language of, Bi Adoni chai nafshecha, it's like, you could read it as like begging for his life. Like meaning it's a little bit extreme. Why is she saying chai nafshecha? Like why is she saying? Yeah.
To me, I feel that he sees
that she has a good point.
She's somebody.
Nachon, I agree, and we're going to go into in a minute. Like the whole today's shiur is going to be about Eli versus Chana and Shmuel. Like Eli and his sons versus Chana and Shmuel. Now Eli and his son, let's put Eli aside, it's not quite clear how, I mean, it doesn't say he sinned, but his sons are bad, okay? And they're leading to the wrong place.
But he must have seen something in the fact that she does this tefillah.
Nachon.
It's answered. He must have realized
that she has something.
Yeah.
And you'll see, okay, so we'll go into that now, okay? All right. Okay, so I'm bringing that up because so then we're going to go more into that, but I just wanted to have that in the back of your mind for now. Okay. Okay, so now, Vaylech Elkanah. Okay, so sorry, one more introduction is before we go into what Bnei Eli do, what are they supposed to be doing? What is the tafkid of the Kohen? Like, what is he supposed to be doing in the Mikdash? Okay. So I brought again Rav Hirsch, who talks about what is he talks about the Kohen Gadol, but also the Kohanim. What do they represent and what they're meant to be? Okay, which I thought, if you have the ideal in your head, then when you read what they're doing, you'll understand how far apart it is, right? So in Rav Hirsch, נזכור שהכהן הגדול מייצג את האומה בהתגשמותה האידיאלית. Okay, so that the Kohen Gadol is meant to be the ultimate role model of how we're supposed to be. Okay, as opposed to, let's say, the Beit Din, which is meant to tell us how we're supposed to be, the Kohen Gadol is meant to be the role model of an example of what we really should be. אמנם מצפה התורה שהכהנים ולשבט לוי ידעו כי השם הוא נחלתו, right? The Kohanim get Hashem is their nachala, as opposed to, right, they don't have actual land. הואיל ועבודת המקדש היא בידיהם, והואיל ואין מהם נוכלים בארץ, they don't get land, instead they get the עבודה and the מקדש. יגדלו מהם חכמי תורה, אנשי רוח תורה. So they're meant to, like, since they're this example, is to learn Torah and to also in the end be teachers. Like, they're in the different cities that they're meant to also be teachers. אך הפעילות הנדרשת מהם היא להורות ולהזהיר ולהוכיח. Okay, so they're meant to teach and to warn and to give תוכחה. עליהם להשיב את לב ישראל לאביהם שבשמיים ולשים שלום בין אדם לחברו. Okay, so they have on the one hand bring us closer to Hashem, and on the other hand also bring shalom, Aaron, right? אוהב שלום ורודף שלום. חייב יהיו דוגמה של הבנה נכונה והגשמה נכונה של התורה. Okay, so and their life is a role model of how you're supposed to live through the Torah. מה שיוגשם באומה על ידי הוראת בית הדין הגדול יודגם בחיי הכהן הגדול. Okay, so they're supposed to be examples of how we're meant to be. So he talks about the Kohen Gadol, but the Kohanim are meant to be. Kohanim are meant to be. Because the Kohen Gadol doesn't leave the Mikdash. The Kohanim who are living and the Leviim who are living in 48 cities, they're meant to be this example and this morei hora'ah. Okay? All right, so now let's see what happens in the time of Elkanah and Eli. וילך אלקנה הרמתה אל ביתו, והנער היה משרת את השם את פני אלי הכהן. Okay, so Elkanah and Hannah go home, and the Nar, meaning Shmuel, is serving Hashem al pnei Eli HaKohen. And here the Malbim says, like, he literally, Eli, I'm reading in 3 in the middle, כי Eli נכנס תחת אביו לחנכו וללמדו. Like, al pnei Eli is that he's really like his father and he's teaching him. והוא עומד לפניו לשרתו, and he's משרת Eli. He's serving Eli. וללמוד ממנו דרכי התורה והעירה. Okay, so Eli is teaching him how to be Oved Hashem. Okay. ובני Eli, בני בליעל, לא ידעו את השם. Okay, so versus Shmuel, who is learning from Eli and learning how to be Oved Hashem, the sons of Eli, instead of being the sons of Eli, are being bnei Belial. They're being Rishaim. Okay, bnei Belial, yeah. No. It might be uniquely Chanaz. It might be uniquely Chanaz. Now, again, and this I'm basically, like, I was listening to a shir of Rav Kashtiel, and he says, like, the Kohanim are meant to be like Ovdei Hashem. They're meant to be this, like, example of how you live with Hashem in front of you all the time. What Hannah does is she does it instead. Like, she gives her son to be al pnei Hashem all the time. Okay? So what's missing in Bnei Eli, Hannah, it's happening in Hannah's family instead. And that's not necessarily what everybody's supposed to be doing, but it's what she decides to do, and it's her mission in life. Okay? And I think that we don't see it as a negative thing because,
it comes out pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's successful. It's like successful on so many levels.
And even though his sons are bnei Belial, well, isn't necessarily with his chinuch, because he's able to lechanech Shmuel the right way. And his sons just הורידו את האור.
יכול להיות ממש. It could be they needed a different chinuch. It could be they needed a different chinuch also. Like, yeah, but it doesn't mean that Eli was not a tzaddik. In other words, whether or not, like, it's also dependent. Chanoch hanar al pi derko. Like it's.
It could be that, or it could be also the fact that Nina brought him in such a way, and Ki'ilu gave Eli a specific mishima.
Nachon.
And he saw there was something special going on here, that his yachas
Was special.
was different than his yachas to his own.
It could be. It could be. It could be.
Similar with Moshe. I mean, it's Chazal, it's not that Chen and Shah.
Right.
He says the same thing about his kids. There's a hint to
That he doesn't manage.
his kids, but he gets the start of teaching
Aaron's kids, right.
But they're also being separated from themselves.
That's true.
I
That's
know,
true.
but still, but I'm just saying that we think that his kids still,
He did not lechanech.
He didn't raise them.
From the beginning.
Nachon.
They stayed with
Nachon.
Zipporah.
Nachon.
Yitro and the whole
Nachon.
thing. I know, but I'm
Nachon. I guess we can also give Eli the credit that he does mechanech Shmuel. Like, even though there's going to be a lot of discredit here, but
There's a lot of things with Eli that you really don't know what is.
Nachon.
The fact that Shmuel gets into one, he doesn't get into
Right,
one.
Nachon.
You don't know
Nachon.
where Eli stands in the...
I mean, but it's probably clear that he did because he understood what was happening to Shmuel. But we're not going to get to that today. Okay. Okay. Uvnei Eli bnei Blia lo yadu et Hashem. Okay, they're Rishaim, and their lo yadu is here. I don't remember which. Did I bring it? No, I didn't bring. Like, I don't know which Mefarish says it is like they take the ol of Hashem off of them. They don't listen to Hashem. Nachon, yafeh. I also saw a Perush. They're bolelim. They're bolelim yediyat Hashem. Like they're mixing it up. Oh, there is the Baal, like there is the Avodat Baal, but that's Bnei Belial just means Rishaim, Bliol, yeah, baddies. And we'll see, it's going to be pretty shocking. Okay, we thought that we were done with Shoftim. Okay, this is a little bit more in the spirit of Shoftim, this story. Umishpat haKohanim et ha'am, kol ish zoveach zevach uva nar haKohen. כבשל הבשר והמזלג שלוש השיניים בידו. Okay, so what was the mishpat? This is what the chok, the Kohanim made, which is not exactly how it's supposed to be. And here we're going to again read. I wanted to read the psukim in the Torah how it's supposed to happen, not exactly the details of the mazleg and everything, but what is Aaron meant to get? What are the Kohanim meant to get? In here in 5. What? The chazeh and the shok.
But it's supposed to be given to
Exactly. So that I wanted to point out in the psukim, and again, this I got from Rabbi Sarel Rosen's book, is that in the psukim in the Torah, it's all about latet, okay? And we're going to see here the verb lakachat instead, okay? So I just wanted to read the psukim in the Torah. V'diber Hashem el Aaron, v'ani netati lecha את משמרת תרומתי לכל קודשי בני ישראל לך נתתים למשך ולבניך כל כולם זה יהיה לך מקודש הקודשים מן האש כל קורבנם לכל מנחתם ולכל חטאתם ולכל השמם אשר השיבו לי קודש קודשים לך ולבניך וקודש הקודשים תאכלנו כל זכר יאכל אותו קודש יהיה לך וזה לך תרומת מתנם לכל תנופת בני ישראל לך נתתים ולבניך לבנותיך איתך לחוק עולם כל טהור בביתך יאכל אותו כל חלב יצהר וכל חלב תירוש ודגן רשיתים אשר יתנו להשם לך נתתים. Okay, what they're giving you're being given to, meaning it's like it's a gift to you. In fact, I think it was in this week's parsha, like that Aaron's job is called matnat kohanim. Like it's not like the Sfat talks about it, that Aaron Kohen didn't earn being a Kohen Gadol. Hashem gave it to him. Like it was a present. Like it's not something you earn to be the Kohen. You can earn other things in Avodat Hashem, but the Kohen Gadol was something that was given. Okay, so they come, so this is what they've decided here in this time, is that when you bring a zevach, he comes with his big fork, okay, as the basar is cooking, vehika b'kior or badud, או בקלחת, או בפרור, כל אשר יעלה המזלג ייקח הכהן בו, ככה יעשה לכל ישראל הבאים שם בשילה. Okay? So all these things, the kior, the dud, and the kalachat are all examples of kderot, like bowl, things that they would cook in. And what? Pots. Yes, cauldrons, thank you. Cauldrons, perfect. And then now instead of them waiting once the basar is cooked, they get the chazeh and the shok, they come bring their big fork and take what they can. Okay? So that's first like this. It's not allowed, but it's not the way it's supposed to be. Okay? They're allowed to do that, but it's not the way it's supposed to be. No, they have to cook it. They cook it. But they take it. They decide, they go into the meat and they take it. Okay, when it says zevach in Tanakh, it's usually shlamim. Okay, shlamim is mostly eaten by the Baal ha-korban, but the chazeh and the shok are given to the kohen, and in this case, they're taking more of it. Okay, they're taking a lot, big forks. Meaning, it's not. Yeah, they're just taking what they can get, and it's allowed. But it's not the way it's supposed to be done.
In theory, it's not like taking something they're not allowed to.
Right. In this case, so this sin is not necessarily. It's not about that they're asur lahem leichol et zeh. It's just it's greedy, and it's also like taking from. I mean, I keep thinking about the perspective of people bringing the korbanot. If the kohanim are acting this way, how does it make you feel? You know, like you're like. No wonder Beit Micha looked a little better. I don't know if you remember, like he greets people and he's like generous, and it's just not the way it's supposed to be. Again, they're meant to be the example of how you're supposed to act. Okay. Gam beterem iktirun et hachelev. Okay, they haven't even given the chelev. Now this is more of a problem because they haven't even given the chelev yet, and you're not really supposed to take the basar before you give the chelev. Okay. Uva nar ha-kohen. Again, they have their mishartim come and do it. It's not the actual kohanim. The mishartim are coming and doing it, and it's also not nice yachas necessarily. Ve'amar la'ish hazoveach tna basar litzlot lakohen, velo yikach mimcha basar mevushal ki im chai. Okay, no, I want to get now the meat. You have to give me now some of the meat. And then the person who's giving the korban says, V'yomer elav ha'ish kater ikterun כיום החלב, וקח לך כאשר תאווה נפשך. אוקיי? ואמר לו, כי אתה תיתן, והאם לא לקחתי בחוזקה. Okay? Again, this is not the way we do things, but here it's actually more of a problem. Like before you give the chalev, you're not really supposed to already separate out the meat. You're not supposed to eat it, and the person bringing the korban, it says no, just wait till I give the chalev and make the korban be proper, and then take whatever you want. You know, and I'm not sure that everybody really wanted to say take whatever you want, but they probably did it just so like we want this korban to be done properly, but no. And then the Nar Kohen says, no, you give it to me. If you don't give it to me, then I'm taking it. Okay? So again.
Serving himself before God.
Exactly. Mamash. Yeah, and then Hashem is going to bring that up later. ותהי חטאת הנערים גדולה מאוד את פני השם, כי נייצו האנשים את מנחת השם. Okay, and now the Narim here is not the Nari Kohen, the Mishartim. The Narim here, we're talking about Chofni and Pinchas, Bnei Eli. That the chet that Hashem sees here is enormous in Hashem's eyes. Now the question is, Ki aniyatzu anashim et minchat Hashem, could be what Hindi said. The first thing is that they put their own wants before Hashem wants, and the Malbim says it, and I somehow relate to what the Malbim says in 6. שבזו העם על ידי זה את הקודשים והיה כבודם קל בעיניהם. Because of the way they were acting, the Am started levazot what was happening in the Mikdash. Okay, which I also think is very serious, very direct consequence of the way they're behaving. But it's also that they're putting their ratzon before Hashem's, like, which is a complete opposite of what they're supposed to be doing. Okay.
So they're not the role model.
That way they're supposed to be, exactly. And they're going to get a severe punishment, we're going to see. Eli and his son, and his, not just his sons, it's going to be for generations. Like, this sin is going to affect generations on generations on generations of Eli's descendants.
But Shmuel is more about Malchut, right?
Shmuel brings Malchut.
No, the reason I'm saying is because it's interesting, because when it comes to Malchut, there's like a book, and there's all kinds of halachot of how you have to conduct yourself. And I just think that it's interesting that it's coming right after this, because they really need those that they've lost themselves.
Nachon, mamash. But also I think that Shmuel is like a tikkun. It's a tikkun, not only for Bnei Eli, but also for the time of Shoftim, right? And I think
It's
that.
also blocking the culture.
But it starts with Chana. It starts with Elkanah and Chana. Elkanah bringing everybody to the Mikdash. Chana putting her son, making it her priority, Avodat Hashem. That she's willing, her dream of having a son, she's willing to give up on in order for the Am, for the Mikdash, for Hashem.
Interesting.
Right?
Interesting. No, really, mamash, because Eli is like, it's all about like they're taking for themselves. But he
Mamash.
makes it, like, it's not easy to travel, and it mentions the fact that he goes 4 times a year to just
It's mamash. And if you look at the psukim in this story, they're brought b'lahefech. Like, okay, we just described Bnei Eli, now we're going back to Shmuel. Okay, pasuk Yud Chet. Ushmuel misharetet pnei Hashem. Okay, as opposed to, yes, nar chagur afod bad. Okay, so now he's a nar chagur afod bad. So here, did I bring? The Radak talks about the afod bad. Okay, I'm just going to read the next pasuk with it. Yes.
Mention why sometimes it says Shmuel and sometimes it says Nahar. I mean, same thing like Yaakov. Sometimes it's Yaakov, sometimes it's Israel, and there's a reason for that. But is there a reason why now all this?
Why he's Na'ar sometimes?
Is it here that it's when maybe he's more like a leadership and before it's just a person?
I understood, like, when Na'ar is usually talking about when you're in the position of a student of learning, or you're like Yitzchak, like in the Akedah, or like Yoshua when he's Na'ar Pnei Moshe, like meaning like that. That's what I understood. It's something. It's like a PhD to write about, like how is the word Na'ar used in Tanakh. Nachon. But in this case, it would fit that it's talking about his role as learning, the nar chagur efod bad. And I just want to add the next pasuk, and then we'll read the Radak. There's the efod and there's the me'il. Okay, so and we're going to see the next pasuk. U'me'il katan taselo imo ve'eltalo miyamim yamima be'alota et isha lizboach et zevach hayamim. So on the one hand, he's called that he has a efod bad. And on the other hand, he has this me'il that his mother would make him, and she would bring it every year, and she'd bring the right size. This me'il becomes the trademark of Shmuel. This me'il is what Shaul tears when he wants him to stay and Shmuel's going to go. This me'il is when Shaul brings him up with the ov. They recognize that it's Shmuel because he's wearing a me'il. They buried him in the me'il. Like this, so this me'il somehow represents something, and it's also, I think it's very beautiful, like Chana's message to him. This is what she does. She does, as Rav Kashtiel said, she doesn't bring him mamtakim. She doesn't bring him, tzatzuim. She brings him the me'il, and the me'il is meant to remind him what his role is. Okay, so what's the me'il? So the Radak talks about a little bit about both of them. דומה לי כי המעיל נעשה בתכונות שונות. יש מעיל לעטיפה, וכן מעיל שמואל שנאמר והוא עוטה מעיל. וכן היה מעיל כהן גדול הבגד העליון שהיה עוטה אותו. והמעיל שהיו בנות המלך לובשות היה מלבוש עשוי בתכונת מלבושי הנשים. Okay, so the ma'il is first of all wraps you completely, right? And it's the Kohen Gadol has a ma'il that is it's the top part of what he's wearing. I mean, he has over the.
Because it's like a hint later on that he's supposed to also
Be a leader. Right, נכון. It says נקודונת. נכון, נקודונת, yeah. נכון. So again, you could read what does the me'il represent, but the me'il in general is representing, it's a reminder, a constant reminder, your focus should be Avodat Hashem. It wraps you completely. It's tsanua, like it creates tzniut, right? You're all covered.
And it's an out to go.
What? It's an out, and it's what people see. And it reminds you, it's what you put on. And we also have to remember, he's being raised in a place where it's actually supposed to be the best place to be raised, but it's actually, there's a lot of negative examples there. Like the fact that Shmuel manages to stay Oved Hashem is maybe also the me'il. Like he has this constant reminder, what am I meant to be? What am I meant to do? And somehow his mother has given him. Right, it's sort of like what the tzitzit should be. But his role is more than just, like he has a special role, I think, that's beyond the tzitzit. And not beyond the tzitzit, but he needs something special. And maybe, yes, connecting us to the Kohen Gadol. Okay, and the ephod, one second, then he goes on. ואפוד של okay, so וכן אפוד עשוי בתכונות שונות של כהן גדול, היה עשוי בתכונה הכתובה בתורה ואפוד של פשתן, היו חוגרים אותו העובדים את השם. Okay, ephod represents the avodat Hashem, but it's not just the Kohanim. The Leviim also wore an ephod. There's also a description of David HaMelech wearing an ephod when he dances in front of the Aron. So when you're doing some sort of avodat Hashem, you have this. The ephod represents your avodah. וכן בשמואל שהיה לוי חגור אפוד בד וכן דוד כשהיה בעבודת האל לפני אהרון חגור אפוד בד כמו שכתוב ודוד חגור אפוד בד. Okay. All right. So Shmuel is Misharet Pnei Hashem. He versus Bnei Li, who are Bnei Belial, and doing the wrong thing and taking what they want, b'ta'ava, and not being nice to other people. Shmuel is wearing the ephod and wearing the me'il and is in a constant Oved Hashem. Pasuk kaf, v'berech Eli et Elkanah ve'et ishto, ואמר ישם השם לך זרע מן האישה הזאת תחת השאלה אשר שאל להשם והלכו למקומו. And so as she brings the me'il, and Eli gives her another bracha that he should have more children from her, just because she gave up this child. כי פקד השם את חנה ותהר ותלד 3 בנים ו2 בנות ויגדל הנער שמואל עם השם. Okay, she has more children in the end, and that's where the midrash is, the terrible midrash that Pnina's children would die when hers would live, which is a terrible idea. But so she has 5 more children. So Chana actually gets the bracha in the end, even though she gave up her dream. In the end, she also gets the dream. And again, I think the uncertainty of who Eli is comes here, that he gives her. His brachot happen. Like, he has the power to give this bracha. So there is some Ruach HaKodesh in Eli, and there is some Kedusha. Ve'eli zaken me'od, u'shama et kol asher ya'asun banav lechol Yisrael, ve'et asher yishkevun et hanashim atzovot petach or moed. Okay, Eli is very old. By the way, one of the places I read, like, Eli is always very passive. Like there's something he's sitting a lot, he's very passive. But here the zaken mode is that same, like, he's not moving. And he hears what his sons are doing, so he knows about it. And the ishkevun et hanashim atzovot petach moed. So here I brought the Radak. Radak says, what you hear is what it is, okay? It's pretty bad. Like that's, so not only do you have here Hamas, like taking people's food, you also have your Gilu Arayot. Chazal say it's not quite as bad as it sounds. It's more that they, yoldot, would bring their korbanot, and they would make them wait till the next day. Their korbanot are not such exciting korbanot. They're 2 yonot. So they'd make them wait till the next day to bring them their korban, and they'd make them be away from their homes, and then it's as if they are shochev otam, like they're נכון, בדיוק. And again, Rav Kashtiel, the way he described it is that Bnei Eli are causing not just Am Yisrael, but the family litparek, as opposed to Chana, who is trying to pull it together, and Shmuel. But whether or not it's literal or not, they're doing something here that is damaging to the Nashim and is damaging to the Mishpacha in Am Yisrael. And Eli's reaction. Okay, so what does he do? Finally, he finally says something. ויאמר להם, למה תעשון כדברים האלה אשר אנוכי שומע את דבריכם רעים מאת כל העם האלה? Why are you doing these things that I'm hearing from people that you're doing? Hal b'nai, כי לאו טובה השמועה אשר אנוכי שומע מעברים עם השם, עם השם. It's not a good thing what you're doing. That's what Eli says. He says, it's not a good thing. This is not a good idea. אם יחטא איש לאיש ופיללו אלוהים, ואם להשם יחטא איש, מי יתפלל לו? ולא ישמעו לכל אביהם כי חפץ השם להמיתם. Okay, so now, what's he saying? He's saying, if you do something to somebody else, that this is the way I think Radak reads it, ufilelo elokim, meaning the shoftim can make shalom with it, and you can have a solution to the problem you're doing. But if you're doing something against Hashem, who's going to daven for you? How is it going to be solved? And they didn't listen. Ki chafesh Hashem la'amitam. So here I brought the Radak, who goes into a whole thing about tshuva, which since we're 3 months to start thinking about. Exactly, you start thinking the Chagim, Elul, almost there. Anyway, but Ki chafesh Hashem la'amitam. So this is in 11. By the way, they're supposed to be the ones who are judging people and deciding. This is from the Malbim. They're supposed to be the ones who are judging and making people do the right thing. And instead, they need to be judged. Again, the Dor HaShoftim, Oy lehem shetzrichim lishpot et shoftehem. Like that is meant. Okay, the Radak, כי חפץ השם לאמיתם, על דרך השמן לב העם הזה, ואמר עד אשר אם שאו ערים, וכן ויחזק השם את לב פרעה. Right, so it's in the same vein as that Hashem didn't allow Paro to do tshuva. וכן כי הקשה השם אלוקיך את רוחו ואימץ את לבבו, והטעם כי כשיגדיל האדם לחטוא, ימנע האל ממנו דרכי התשובה, כדי שיקבל עונשו. Sometimes Hashem just doesn't, at some point you lose the right to do tshuva because you've been so bad, you have to get a punishment. והנשארים יראו ויראו. Okay, and the other people will hear, and then they won't want to do the same thing. אבל הרשע שלא הרבה לחטוא, but it could be you've done some really bad stuff, but you haven't been so bad, יפתחו לו דרכי התשובה, אם רוצה לשוב. ואליו נאמר, כי לא אחפוץ במות המת, השיבו וחיו, ואפילו ירבה הרשע לחטוא, אם שב אל השם בכל לבבו, מראה לבני אדם, גם כן תשובתו שלמה. Okay, so that many times, even if you've done some bad stuff, Hashem gives you a chance, and then Hashem will accept you back no matter what. ואוחז הדרך הטובה בכל נפשו ובכל מאודו, you can still come back. אבל בוחן לבבות יודע האמת, וראה בבני אלי כי לא היה לבבם שלם. ואפילו ישמעו לכל אביהם, ויסור מדרכם הרעה, ידע כי לא יעשו זאת בכל ליבם. לפיכך חפץ שלא ישמעו בקול אביהם. They had gotten to a point, and he knew this, that somehow they could not do full tshuva, and therefore he didn't want to give them, even if they would listen, the opportunity to do tshuva, and that they needed to be punished. It's difficult. Like, it's difficult. Where's the balance? Only Hashem really knows where that balance is.
But he didn't have a responsibility? Like, meaning, he just like, I can't do it and therefore go? Like,
Eli, you mean?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah. Nachon, I mean, I think Chazal see him as this is not weak. Yeah. This is a weak tochacha. But on the one hand, and on the other hand, it's also that Hashem had decided they're not going to listen to him. Like, because they need to get their punishment.
Were they the only two Kohanim running the show?
That's a good question. No, there were a lot of there were Narim helping them, who are probably also Kohanim, because I think they're supposed to do the avodah. It could be their Levim also. I don't know. They have a special role. They're clearly leaders in what's going on. Is running this way. Yeah.
It's a bit strange when you see at least Yachas. Okay, it says he's very old, okay, so he's not looking around terribly. But he's listening to Shmuot.
Yeah, where did he get them from?
Yeah, why is he acting on Shmuot and not going to actually see what they're doing?
Absolutely.
And then correct them toch kedei?
Mamash. And also, how did it get to this point where it's so bad? Like, meaning, if he was on top of it earlier, then it wouldn't have gotten to this. It's so bad.
That's what I'm saying. Does he get punished for that?
Oh, you're going to see. He's going to get punished badly. In fact, the punishment is very severe. But meaning, this is, sometimes there are things in Jewish history that are mechonen. Like they define something for generations. You know, like they say about Tisha. Yeah, but Tisha B'Av, the Meraglim is like, you're going to livkot bedorot on this day. Like that, it's like certain things, and Eli's descendants forever are going to have a klalot because of this.
But when you're not proactive when you're supposed to be, we see the same thing with Yehoshua. Like at the end of, like, the whole thing is great, and then at the end, it's also like, if you don't do the full job,
but it's hard. Like it's like I mean, we're not the Kohen Gadol, and we're not, but every action is like, it has consequences for a long time. Like, it's just really mind-boggling sometimes if you think about your life that way. Like, what am I doing that's like affecting all my generations? You know, it's a big thing. Okay, we can go on. Okay. והנער שמואל הולך וגדל וטוב גם עם השם וגם עם אנשים. Okay, so again, clear contrast. Like, this is what's happening with them, and at the same time, Shmuel is growing and doing good, and he's with Hashem, and he's also with the people. Okay, so again, mamash contrast completely to what Eli was saying, and also to what's happening in the Mikdash. ויבוא איש האלוהים אל אלי, ויאמר אליו, כה אמר השם הנגלו נגלתי אל בית אביך בהיותם במצרים לבית פרעה. Okay, so ויבוא איש האלוהים, here is Chazal, I brought Rashi, says it's Elkanah. He's the Navi that's coming. In 12, רבותינו אמרו כי הוא אלקנה אבי שמואל, כי נביא היה, והיה מכלל 48 נביאים שנתנבאו לבני ישראל. Okay, so he's listed as one of the Nevi'im, and they say that this is Elkanah who comes. I put Shmuel in an awkward position, but maybe he's the Navi. But I guess also because he really is a tzaddik, clearly, in this generation. And he says, my relationship with your family, again, emphasis on Beit Avicha. This is not about just you. This is about where you come from. Your Beit Avicha, it's even before Matan Torah. It's from Mitzrayim. I had a relationship with Aaron. And here the Chazal say, Aaron was a Navi also. I had a relationship. I talked to Aaron. I came to him. במצרים לבית פרעה, ובחר אותו מכל שבטי ישראל לי לכהן, לעלות על מזבחי, להקטיר קטורת, לשאת אפוד לפניי, ואתנה בית אביך את כל אישי בני ישראל. Again, I gave. I made your father, I had a relationship with him. I made your father, the Kohen, Aaron, and I gave him אישי בני ישראל. Okay? He didn't take. I gave him. למה תבעטו בזבחי ובמנחתי אשר ציוויתי מעוון, ותכבד את בניך ממני, להבריחם מראשית כל מנחת ישראל לעמי. Okay? So why are you, the ot is like kicking, but kicking like against. Kick against my zvachim and my manchot. Now again, Hashem doesn't need the zvachim and manchot, but the point of the zvachim and the manchot is to be for Hashem. So why are you acting in such a negative way to my zvachim and manchot and putting your sons before me? Eli has to take the brunt of the blame for this. And again, how did he get to this place? How did he not protest? Right? And that you're taking yourself, you're acting as if you're before God. You take your needs before I get mine. Or, kivyachol. Okay, so I brought the Malbim. שבעבור היותו שלוחם ומלאך הברית העומד בין השם ובינם, הרימות ישכרו מן האישים. Right, I gave Aaron שכר, because I made him greater than others. אולם גם בזה אמר תנאי שלא נתן לו רק האישים. But he's only supposed to take the אישים, the חזה and the שוק. רצה לומר דברים המצדים לאש. כאילו מן הקורבן, יש בו חלק הראוי לבעל הקורבן, כמו בשר שלמים, ואין לכלולים בו מאומה. Okay, so you're taking things that you're not even meant to take. Not only do I give it, but you're taking things you're not even meant to take. And then in 14, נגד מה שהוא שלוחה דרחמנה שבחר אותו לא לכהן, ואם כן כל כבוד כהונתם נמשך רק ממם שהם כהני השם מקריבים זבחי רצון, לא מצד עצמם. The reason you're chosen is because you bring the korban for me, not because you're so great. וראויים כן שיהיה כל חפצם לכבד את הזבחים. So then you should treat the זבחים respectfully. אחר שכבודם הוא עניין מקרי. Okay, it's not about your greatness. It's about that this is the derech that the Am brings their zevach. This is the way they can relate to Hashem. Yeah. No. But it makes sense that the name is in the family because Pinchas is a Kohen. Yeah. It's not that. It's not. Yeah. It's not Pinchas. It's not the same Pinchas. Yeah. Okay, so I think we understood. Okay. The question is, do you want to stop here or should we try to finish the parak? I wanted to finish the parak. I think it's 6. Okay. Yeah? Okay, fine. What? Oh, you have to leave. Okay, sorry. Oh, so shall we wait? I don't mind. Okay.
Let's wait.
Okay. I'm okay with that. We can go on after. It doesn't get much better. It just basically goes on telling him what his punishment is, which is very detailed and very, very long term. And again, so then it'll be 2 weeks. We'll go on. Sorry. Okay. All right. Seder Simcha. Oh, wow. That's really funny.